Hi guys, because there are so many perfumes in the Miss Dior fragrance collection, I thought I'd do a bit of a comparison review between the different fragrances, which is better, how to choose the right one for you. So the Miss Dior perfumes I'm going to compare today are the Miss Dior Eau de Parfum, the Miss Dior Blooming Bouquet, and the original Miss Dior from 1947. And I apologise for my hair, it's kind of crazy. I fell asleep in those silk rollers and it was just a massive frizz bomb. So then I tried to curl it and then it went really static because the heating's now on. Anyway, so let's ignore the hair and talk about the perfume. So all of the Miss Dior perfumes have this signature rose scent, but with different nuances and intensities. So I feel like it's a perfume that's really good for all age groups, for all occasions, but I would say for me personally, I find it more of a spring summer fragrance because of those light florals than a wintry perfume. I tend to prefer the J'adore Infinissimi for a wintry perfume or for an evening perfume. So the original Miss Dior perfume was released back in 1947. It is still available. I'm going to link it in the description. I'll link all of them in the description, but I will say it does tend to be sold out most of the time and it is really hard to get hold of the original. So snap it up while you can. All of them tend to be at a very similar price point as well, besides the original, which does tend to be a lot more expensive. So while the original Miss Dior perfume that was released in 1947 is still around, the next release of the Miss Dior Eau de Parfum was in 2017, and then they re-released that in 2021, which is the one I'm going to review today. They also have Eau de Toilette and more heavy floral variations of the Miss Dior. So it really is just a case of finding the right one for you, and I really hope this video will help you do that. So all of the Miss Dior perfumes and Eau de Toilettes come in a clear glass bottle. They just come in different shapes. They all have the same Miss Dior motif on the bottom, which is houndstooth, and that's engraved into the glass. And all of the Miss Dior bottles also have some kind of bow on the top. They just come in different iterations, whether that's a solid bow or a more silver looking bow. So let's start at the beginning, which is going to be the Miss Dior L'Extrait de Parfum Original. So like I said before, the Miss Dior L'Extrait de Parfum Original was produced back in 1947 and was the very first perfume created by Christian Dior. And it was designed to be really fresh, floral, bold and elegant, which I think we still see in most of the Miss Dior perfumes today. So it's a really fresh green, chypre, woody, oriental floral fragrance with galbanum, sambac, jasmine, which is also in a lot of the J'adore fragrances, rose and Indian patchouli. So obviously that was the first bottle for Miss Dior, and it's cut like a suit and decorated all over with that houndstooth motif, which is still on the base of all the Miss Dior bottles today. The couture bow on the original is silver thread and grey satin shaped into a swallowtail. It's minimalist, it's modern, it's elegant, and it's one of those fragrances that's very bold for Miss Dior. But you have to like patchouli, and a lot of people don't, which is why a lot of the other iterations of Miss Dior might be better for you. So the Miss Dior Eau de Parfum re-release in 2021 replaced the 2017, which is now being discontinued. It's now unsurprisingly Dior's best-selling Miss Dior fragrance, probably because it's the most well-known out of all of them. The new Miss Dior Eau de Parfum was created to be a lighter version than the original with less rose and patchouli, and I think that's really nice because sometimes patchouli and rose can be very strong. It's a very specific fragrance. So check this out if you're not too into roses or patchouli, but still want something floral. I'm going to get to the scent, don't worry, but I want to spray it and compare it side by side to the Blooming Bouquet so we can really compare them. So I just wanted to talk about the bottle quickly first because it is so pretty. So of course it's the same clear glass bottle that's rectangular with the white rectangle on the front that says Miss Dior Eau de Parfum. And the bow on this one isn't metal, it's a multicolored thread ribbon. And the ribbon can also be customized with the ABC Dior charms, and the bottle can be also engraved if you want to do something more personalized. Obviously it's Miss Dior, so the signature base scent is going to be that Centifolia rose. However, that's also along with a lot of other notes such as Lily of the Valley, Peony, Iris, musks, vanilla, tonkin, benzoin and sandalwood. Now I tend to really like sandalwood in perfumes because it does kind of give it that warmer, creamy, deeper finish. So we're going to spray this and see what we think. So I'm going to put the Miss Dior Eau de Parfum on my left wrist, and I'm going to put the Miss Dior Blooming Bouquet on my right wrist. Now, one thing I will recommend when you're out trying perfumes is don't be chewing gum or drinking coffee, because obviously the scent and the taste are very kind of like interrelated. So if you're tasting mint and coffee and smelling the mint and coffee, it's obviously going to mess with the taste and smell of your perfume. Same with body lotions, with anything that can interfere with your fragrance smelling and testing. Obviously still wear your deodorant and clean your teeth, but I'm just saying really try and go with as clean a palette as possible to really be able to smell the fragrances. So obviously I'm going to get some cross-contamination in the air right now, which is why I'm not wafting around now. I'm going to let the fragrances settle down a bit so it can really smell them both individually. So with the Miss Dior Eau de Parfum, I am getting quite a powdery scent. It is creamy, it is rich, it's not quite as light as sometimes you might think for a Miss Dior perfume, a bit like Coco Mademoiselle to me is a gorgeous daytime fragrance. This is still a summer daytime fragrance, but I think you could still wear this in the winter. And I am getting a lot of the white flowers as well, like the lily of the valley and the jasmine, rather than just rose. And I really like that because, sorry, I don't want to offend anyone, but sometimes rose and patchouli can be quite, it smells quite a mature scent. This smells quite youthful. It smells quite well balanced. But I will say, if you don't love powdery finishes, this might not be the one for you because it definitely has that to it. But because the Miss Dior Eau de Parfum is an Eau de Parfum, it does tend to be longer lasting than the Eau de Toilette. So if you're looking for a long lasting daytime perfume, maybe for the spring, summer, you might want to try this one. It is a really, really pleasant feminine perfume. So I've been wearing the Miss Dior Blooming Bouquet for years. It's actually my favorite in the Miss Dior collection, as I find it a really easy to wear summer feminine floral fragrance that's not too overpowering for the daytime, while still kind of having that wow factor. It's one of those perfumes that you definitely notice. So the main differences for me of the Miss Dior Eau de Parfum and the Miss Dior Blooming Bouquet are the Blooming Bouquet doesn't have the powdery finish that the Eau de Parfum does. I find it's richer. I actually find it more intense than the Eau de Parfum, and it also has bergamot that the Eau de Parfum doesn't. And that bergamot is giving it a slightly citrus smell without being astringent, without smelling like cleaning. You know how I am on citrus smells. I'm not a huge fan, but there's just enough of this to take the edge and the sweetness off of the florals to give it kind of a more fresh, crisp smell. It also has those white musks in there, which makes it slightly spicy, makes it slightly warmer, and to me a slightly more sensual perfume. I feel like the Miss Dior Eau de Parfum is a very light, lively daytime perfume. The Blooming Bouquet, yes, it's still floral. Yes, I feel like it's a daytime perfume, but I feel like you could also wear it for the evening. So that's why it's my favorite. They're both creamy, they're both floral, but that one for me, the Miss Dior Blooming Bouquet, is just slightly more mature, not in an old way, but slightly more sophisticated. Maybe that's a better way of saying it, and less powdery. So if you buy any of the Miss Dior Eau de Toilettes, some of the things you can do for more lasting power is by layering them. And Miss Dior has a lot of products you can layer with. So it doesn't matter whether you use all of them or one of them or a few of them. Play around, see what works for you to get the most wear out of them. They have a Miss Dior foaming shower gel, they have a body moisturizer, they have a hairspray, they have a body mist. And if you're looking for something you just do touch-ups on throughout the day, you can get the Miss Dior rollerball. So I don't know how I ended up with a bottle with a solid silver bow on my Blooming Bouquet, because the Blooming Bouquet should be a woven jacquard bow. And the multicolored lurex threads used in that bow are inspired by a bouquet of thousands of different colored flowers. So yes, the Miss Dior Eau de Parfum and the Miss Dior Blooming Bouquet are both Miss Dior perfumes, but to me they're very different fragrances. The Miss Dior Eau de Parfum for me is a more rose, powdery, daytime fragrance. It doesn't have the complexities and subtleties of the Blooming Bouquet. So yes, it's great if you want a daytime light perfume, if you don't mind powdery finishes. For me, I definitely still prefer the Miss Dior Blooming Bouquet. It's more sophisticated. It's a lot more well balanced. So it's not just rose. You have the bergamot, you have the peony, you have the musks giving it that spiciness and rounding off and completing the perfume. And I feel like it carries more than the other one does, and in a good way. It's still not overpowering. It's still a light, floral, feminine, fresh perfume, but that citrus for me is also a seller because it just lifts the perfume and makes it slightly brighter. Now, I'm only talking about those 3 perfumes in this Miss Dior review comparison today. I'm going to review all of them in the blog post. I'm going to link all of them below in the description as well. If you've tried the perfumes before, let me know in the comments. Let me know which your favorite is, which your least favorite is, if there's any limited editions you want to see Dior bring back. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a quick thumbs up and subscribe.